Dear students, we are now moving further on into data handling. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to do the stem and leaf plot and the histogram. An example given below. The distance is in meters. I see I have been given a table which represents some sort of scenario. These distances are given in meters and they are in random order. Question number 1. Draw a stem and leaf plot for the data. And question number 2, draw the corresponding histogram. I'm going to start off with the stem and leaf plot. A stem and leaf plot is a simple way to arrange a large data set in ascending order. This data set is not too large, but in terms of understanding, we are going to use this information. I see I have numbers or two-digit numbers, with the numbers stemming from numbers in their 20s to their 60s, which means I know that my smallest number will be a number in the 20s, my largest number will be a number in the 60s. In order to draw a stem and leaf plot, I first start off by drawing a vertical line. On this side is going to be my stem, and on this side is going to be the leaf. Now, I do this twice. The first time, it's an unordered stem and leaf plot. I start off on the stem side by looking at the decades that I'm using, meaning I'm looking at the numbers that I'm using in terms of 20s. So I'll write a 2, which represents 20 or the 20s, a 3 representing 30s, 4 40s, 50s, and 60s. So the numbers on the left are representing the 10s, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. To arrange the numbers on the right-hand side, which means the leaf, I now go across each individual number, and I start off by. So let's start off by eliminating is a 35. So I remove the 35. The moment that I remove the 35, I need to place it here. The 35 will go in the 3 column because this represents the 30s. So 35, 35. The next number I remove is 25. And this will go in the 20s column, 25. The next number, as you can see, is 46. 46 obviously will be coming down in the 40s column, 46. The next number is 28, which means it'll go in the 20s column up here, which is 28. The next number is 66. It goes down into the 60s column, and I'm going to write it somewhere around here, and that's 66. And if I go further, guys, you need to follow this through. 62 will go in the 60s column, 62. 33 in the 30s column, 33. 39 in the 30s column, 39. 45 in the 40s column. 65 in the 60s column. Let's go further, guys, but faster. 39, 47, 39 again, 36, 41, 39. This is a 30. This goes in the 60s column, the 50s, the 40s, again in the 40s, 30s, 50s, 50s, and 40s. And this now becomes an unordered stem and leaf. The next step, in order to arrange them in ascending order, I now go on and do the ordered stem and leaf, which means all these numbers on the right-hand side here, I arrange them in ascending order, which makes it much easier. If you look at the 5 and the 8, 5 is smaller, so it goes first, and then the 8. Look at the 30s column. In the 30s column, the smallest number is a 0, so the 0 goes first. The next number is a 3, followed by a 5, followed by a 6, the 8, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 9s. In a nutshell, this is what I'm talking about. The ordered stem and leaf, a vertical line again. And now watch what I've done. I've basically done the same thing, except I've rearranged the right hand side. There's a 5 and 8. Look at these numbers. They go in ascending order. These numbers here are in ascending order. These numbers at the bottom are in ascending order, which means I have now done them in ascending order. Now watch the numbers. This 5 represents not 5, it represents 25. What about this number here? This number is not a 5, it is actually 35. Let's look at this 9 here. This 9 is not a 9. You look at the 9, but you also look at where it's coming from, and it's coming from here, the 50s. So the 9 is actually 59. And that should give you around 5 marks in the examinations. A simple stem and leaf plot. If I had 10s, I would have had a 1 year. If I had 70s, 80s, 90s, I would have progressed to 6, 7, 8, 9. If I had something in the hundreds, I'll have a 10. In the 110s, I'll have an 11, and on and on and on. The next question here speaks about draw the corresponding histogram. The first thing I need to understand is a histogram is very similar to a bar chart with a few minor differences. Step number 1, this might be given to you in the exams. You simply have to go and complete the graph that is given. But in terms of the work at home, you need to construct the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. In this case, this speaks about classes or the distances in this case. You'll find that I have here 10, 20, 30, 40 up to 70. This I obtain it from down here. The frequency, you don't find the frequencies over here, but this frequency is something different. For example, in the 20s, how many times does the numbers in the 20s appear? It appears 1, 2 times. So between 20 and 30, all I need to do is I need to draw a graph that is 20 to 30. That represents a height of 2. Look at the 30s. In the 30s, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers in the 30s. 9 numbers, which means from 30 to 40, it goes up to a height of 9. So which means it's somewhere around there. And this now is where the difference is because the bars are all joined together. I'll show you this much a neater answer. This is what your histogram should look like with the numbers as given over here. In the 20s, I said there's only 2 numbers. So between 20 and 30, and by the way, this means 20 to less than 30. 20 to less than 30. The 30 to less than 40 will be here, which means it does not include 30, but I'll go down here and I'll say there's 2 numbers. Hence, I have this height coming here. Look at the 30s to 40s. I told you there's 9. It's a height of 9. The 40s to 50s, there's 2, 4, 6, 7. So it's a height of 7. And on and on and on. What you can do, you can color this if you want to. You can shade them if you want to. Or you can just leave it like this in the exams with no shading, because you can understand that between 50 and less than 60, there are 3 that falls under there. There are 3 numbers. It's a simple scenario. Please ensure that you get this correct in the examination. Thank you.